Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? How you doing, man?
Ted, man, I'm doing great. We're here at the Lost Rhino Brewing, and man, got a nice crowd. And speaking of nice crowds, the crowd at training camp today was awesome, man.
It was insane, man. It was insane. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. For those wondering, it is Thursday, the 27th. Rally and I decided to record today because we were going to see each other in person. And the good people at Lost Rhino agreed to let us have a table, come out here. I just got done having a nice beer. We just had some food. And we never get a chance to really see each other. But right. I did see you all over my TV and my social media last Thursday at that Burgundy and Soul party. How was that, man?
It was bananas, man. And you know, everybody keeps talking about how the flavor is changing. It truly is changing, man. I mean, the fact that people came out on a Thursday afternoon to celebrate Dan Snyder leaving, man.
That's really what it was. It was a basically Dan Snyder party.
Yeah. Big shout out to Commanders fans that showed up. I'm still in awe. And today I'm speechless, man, because of the amount of people that came out today.
I don't know how many people texted me, tweeted me saying, "Where are you? What's going on?" At one point, Doc Walker literally was on the air saying, "Tailgate Ted, where are you? What's going? Get out here. Come over to the table," because he wanted to talk. And I had to text Doc and say, "Hey, Doc, stop blowing me up. I'm out of town on vacation." I was literally, I don't, for those who wonder, I don't live in DC during the summertime. I live at the beach. I go surfing. I got to get a break from this place. And it just so happened that that's when I took my break to get the hell out of town. And it killed me not to be there with you, not to be there with our Burgundy and Gold brothers and sisters, because we have been waiting for 24 years for this dark cloud to be gone. And that party was the culmination of just decades of pain and misery and suffering. And you know my boy Jared from the tailgate.
Yeah.
So he's got a daughter. I want to say she's 4.
Okay.
He asked me, can I bring her to the bullpen? So I said, can you or should you? Because he knows I hang out there. That's my drinking spot before Nats games. So I called my buddy that's the GM at the bullpen, said, can you bring kids? He said, yeah, no problem. So I sent him a text back, said, yes, you can bring her. She is technically allowed. But then I sent him a video of when the Nats won the World Series and everyone just giving everybody basically a beer shower and how crazy that place got. It's like, but if you want her to be like in this just massive humanity and smell like alcohol and you're okay sleeping on the couch for a month, the question is, should you bring her?
Well,
he didn't post.
I got to tell you, it wasn't that bad. But I hear what you're saying. It goes back to when people ask me, can they bring their child on the trip? The first thing I ask them is, well, how old is your child? Because, you know, it is technically an adult trip. And would you mind, or do you mind seeing your child conversing with adults that are drinking adult beverages? And so people kind of say, oh, yeah, well, the kid's out as far as that's concerned. So, yeah, I hear you.
I'd say if you're taking them to New York or you're taking them to Atlanta or someplace like that, good. If you're taking your kid to Philly, don't do it. It's just it's dirty up there. The cheesesteaks aren't that good. Come here to Lost Rhino. They got good food out here. Definitely. They got a good menu. Do that instead. Don't worry about riding the bus. If you got kids, just leave the kids at home for Philly. Ride the bus. Just don't bring them with you. That's all.
Well, minors. But if they're teens or more, they can come.
But if they're snotty, you don't want to bring some like bratty kids to Philly that are just going to open their mouth. It's not worth it.
Well, the good thing about our fan base, though, is we don't have any snotty kids, bro. You know that they're Burgundy and Gold to the day of dead and cold, man.
I'm going to call BS on that one. But so I know you, and you don't really go out on a school night, and you don't really stay out late. How long were you at that Burgundy and Soul party? Because that thing was going all night long.
Well, yeah, I had to pop smoke, man, probably about 7:30. Because you know, I got to get up at basically 2:25 in the morning to be at work. And let me tell you, that morning I needed some Don't Sleep energy drink, man. I needed it, and it helped me out a lot because, it was rough, bro.
I was going to ask you, how many Don't Sleeps did you have while you're driving back up 95 to head back to the office?
Just one.
Okay.
That's all I needed. It took care of me. Big shout out to Don't Sleep energy drink.
Now, we appreciate them. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do this podcast right now. And if you guys are listening, make sure you check them out at don'tsleepenergy.com. They've got sugar free. I was popping that today. I got up at 4:00 to get out to Ashburn today. So the alarm went off, and it's about 4:05. I hit snooze a couple times, and then the wife kicked me out and said, "Stop hitting snooze. Just get the hell out and
Just
leave."
get up.
Yeah, I mean, I still needed a little bit of rest, but luckily I had some Don't Sleep sitting in my cooler ready to go. And don't forget to use that promo code DMV Mess Hall. Gets everybody 10% off, helps out big time. But at the bullpen, I got to ask you, because I was listening to everything from the beach.
Okay.
And I was streaming the fan on Odyssey. Josh Harris called up. Were you there when Josh Harris bought everybody a beer?
Oh, man, yeah. The crowd went wild. A matter of fact, I even went wild. And I'm not really even a big beer drinker, but best believe I had to
Other
get
than
my
Lost Rhino beer.
Lost Rhino, exactly. But I had to get my commemorative by Dan beer, pale ale. I had to do it, man.
That's awesome, man. I when he called up, and those that are wondering, Josh Harris finished all of his meetings in Minnesota, signed all the paperwork, took some time out, and he called our friends Grant and Danny on the fan. And I'm thinking, this is just someone pretending he's Josh Harris. This is Danny doing a name.
That's what I thought it was as well.
Danny doing a funny voice. He's the young Charles Barkley in a commercial. I mean, Danny does voices.
Yeah.
So he's just been working on his Josh Harris voice. It was actually Josh Harris calling up to buy all the fans at another brewery that I'm not going to name out of respect for where we are, and everybody at the bullpen a beer. 24 years. 24 years I've been going to games. You've been going to games.
Yeah.
Going to events. Dan's never bought me a beer. He's never bought me anything. How about you?
No.
They did fix my grill after I got run over in the parking lot, and that was more Tanya.
That they did.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. But I didn't get a glass of water when I was over there. I didn't get a soda when I was over there.
Well, they'll probably say to you that they gave you some more insider information more so than buying you a beer.
They did, and
see that's what they'll say to you. You know, we didn't buy you a beer or a jersey, but we gave you some good insider knowledge. So maybe in their mind that goes further than a beer.
Speaking of insider knowledge, and I don't want to bring this up, but I feel like it's relevant because of where we are right now. And I don't want to talk about it again.
Okay.
But the Mary Jo White report findings came out the day of the sale.
Yeah.
Literally, Mary Jo went in to talk to all the owners right before they voted on approving the sale of the team, as if that wasn't going to influence them anymore. But the good news in those findings is they were found guilty of sexual harassment, according to her. And Jason Friedman, who we spoke about on the last show, who we were advocating for on the last show, was also found that his claims of cooking the books and all the bad things they were doing were 100% right. Yeah. And I immediately sent Jason a text message saying, I am so happy for you. I hope you get everything that you are looking for and you can close this chapter, because he is like us. He just worked for the team.
Exactly. Huge fan. Yeah, huge fan.
And he's suing them. And the fact that the report came out and she sustained his allegations. And who knows what's going to happen with Dan? Yes, he made $6 billion. All I know is, like I said last show, unless we're talking about those pretzels, I don't want to hear his name again. And it's been funny to me that the new ownership group hasn't even mentioned him by name since they've taken over.
Why would they? You know, let the sleeping baby sleep. You know, I think if anything, the reporters want to draw it out of people, because like today at camp, that's one of the first things that they kept asking us, you know, what about this or what about that? And we're just trying to look past that and look forward. You know, Dan is, let's face it, the past. We've got a bright horizon in front of us with this new ownership, and that's where the focus needs to be. It happened. It was 24, 25 years of ish, if you will. That's gone now. Let's focus on the new group.
Well, and this is actually what Josh Harris had to say about his promise to the fans.
To the Commanders fans, our promise to you is straightforward. We will work tirelessly to make you proud once again of this franchise like my family was when I grew up here. This is not going to be easy. My job is to deliver an organization that can win. It's on me and it's on us up here. Our work begins today, and I'm so excited to be on this journey together with the city. Thank you all.
Did you watch Friday's press conference?
No, I did not.
At the So Long Dan rally,
Mm-hmm.
the training camp pep rally that was not a training camp pep rally.
No, that was not.
I think Smoot had a line, and I texted him about it. Said today's Commander Pendants Day. Basically, you know, our
Commander Pendants Day.
yeah, only Fred could come up with something like that. But once again, I was just jealous for all of our brothers and sisters that got to be at FedEx Field. The line wrapped. I want to say it was 2/3 around the stadium.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to work, but that's one of the days that I wish if there was ever a day to call off, that would have been the day, because everyone like you were asking, well, where's Rally? Where's Ted? And we're like, he's out of town, and I had to work, unfortunately. So
I actually looked at it. So an Uber from Ocean City would have cost me $400.
I dug it.
So it's like, I mean, Don't Sleep Energy is sponsoring the show, but we might have to up their fee a little bit for me to be able to afford a one-way Uber for $400.
No.
But no, it's just seeing, though, Josh Harris giving his speech on that stage.
Yeah. And
seeing Magic Johnson give his speech. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I saw clips, but one of the things that stands out to me is the fact that Josh said, it's up to me to turn this thing around. He's taking full ownership of this whole thing, and that's refreshing, man. It really is, to say, hey, I'm not going to worry about anybody else. I'm going to take this bull by the horns, and I'm going to ride it.
The fact that he is a fan and Dan is a fan has been brought up numerous times.
Yeah.
What's different? So I'd say, number one, Dan was 34 years old.
Yeah.
And he was young and he was brash and he was immature. Josh Harris is not any of those things.
No.
And he owns 2 other sports franchises and he knows what he's doing.
And that's what I was going to say. The fact that he has experience in ownership versus that AOL, AOL and owning a team is 2 different things, man. So I guess he brought the .com era to FedEx Field, but it didn't survive.
No, that bubble burst.
Yep, it burst. And so, like anything else, once it burst, what can you do now? Who are you going to look to make sure that you're doing things right? And he didn't have any, basically from a fan's point of view, he didn't have any checks and balances. It was his way, and even if he was wrong, so be it. It is what it is. I'm going to continue to ride with it because I've got this illustrious franchise called the Redskins, and people are going to come. And what happened? People slowly throughout the years stopped coming. So we're not going to talk about Dan. We're going to talk about the Josh Harris group and everything that they're going to do and put this on their back to move us into the next century.
And I want to talk about Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up, obviously, we all grew up watching him win championships.
It's the Magic Man, Showtime.
There was a guy in the stands today, in the bleachers, with a Magic Johnson jersey on, Lakers jersey, and he had a Commander's hat on. And just seeing that kind of made this all come full circle for me. But did you see Magic's interview on the Today Show?
I did not see that, but like I said, I got clips. So I got the cliff notes, if you will, but I didn't see the full video. But one thing I did see was Magic Johnson dancing some go-go. I did see that.
He might need Mellow T to show him some moves.
That's right. And we got Mellow T in the audience. And we've got some nice fans in the crowd as well. So shout out to you guys for showing up at the Lost Rhino Brewing Company. But seeing Magic Johnson dance to some go-go, he's no stranger to the DC go-go. I mean, he's got several businesses in this area anyway, so he's no stranger to it. And it was a good turnout seeing him do that.
But what Magic said during his presser really resonated with me. I'm going to have to play it here for everyone that missed it.
Please do.
When Josh and I talked, the first thing I said was, do you want to win? And he said, yes. I said, I'm in. Because I don't invest in sports teams for ego. I invest to win. And We want to change everything that has happened to this franchise. We see the winners in the front row. Not only did they win Super Bowls, they also made the community great. And we want to invite the community to be a part of what we're building here. That's going to be a part of my role, is to get out into the community and help them understand what we're doing, how we're doing it, and also we want to give back. We want to make an impact on this great community that we're doing business in.
I don't invest in sports teams for ego. I want to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I put a tweet out there, retweeted Magic talking to the employees, talking to the staff. I had some off-the-record conversations with the staff after they met with Magic. And just hearing their excitement or reading their excitement over text messages. Dude, you remember the old the Kool-Aid commercials?
Oh, yeah.
Where he would just come and bust through a wall. That's how I feel when I hear Magic making his speech. When I see Magic talking to the employees, and Brian Mitchell was talking about on his Facebook.
Yeah.
There was an Eagles fan or a Philly fan giving him crap, saying Magic only owns 4% of the team. 4% of $6 billion is still a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
And
I don't have
who
it.
cares how much he owns?
Yeah.
He is part of our franchise now. And Terry McLaurin did an interview after the actual press conference saying that he can now just call Magic up whenever. He's got an open door policy. And to have that kind of mentor, that champion, just being there to help your players as they dive into this career that he has successfully, conquered and achieved is priceless.
Oh, yeah.
4% might as well be 40% as far as I'm concerned. And he has a winning mentality.
Yeah.
That is not something that we have had here ever.
Yeah.
And that people have been asking me, I did a couple interviews on Fox, like, what's the difference now versus then? There's this group, and shout out to my man, Jeff Too Funny on Twitter. He's a producer for B. Mitch and Finley. He called them the Hogs.
That's right.
On his new song.
Which
But
was great.
The Harris ownership group.
Mm-hmm.
I got chills when he said that line during his song. And those that don't know that aren't here, we'll tweet it out. But he does a song usually once a week for Commanders games when he's not, fishing or doing something else. But he made a new one for the sale of the team. And man, these new Hogs that have taken over this team, there is a major difference here. And not to talk about that pretzel boy before, but we actually have true leadership. I'm standing in line today at 7:00 outside Ashburn, and Mark Ines pulls up right in front of me, and he's getting chauffeured. He's not actually driving. He's sitting in the back of the car. He rolled his window down and said hello. I had a TV show at FedEx Field. At Redskins Park.
Okay.
For 4 years with Larry Michael.
Larry Michael, yeah.
I would be there 2 times a week. Not one time did I ever get waved to by Pretzel Boy. Not once.
That just wasn't his makeup, man. I mean, some people are more outgoing. Obviously, he lived in the bubble. So the fact is, as I said, we're gonna leave him behind. This new group, very personable. Now, I will say this, I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I'll say this. Dan took pictures with me.
You're the rally captain.
Okay.
You, Mother Teresa, you got to take pictures.
Dan would take pictures with me. I don't know. So I've got several pictures with him, and we're both cheesing. So hey,
you posted a picture after everything was going on too. You got yelled at for that.
Yeah, I did get yelled at. As a matter of fact, I was going to post more, but I decided not to.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
we'd have to clean up our DMV Mess Hall social media imaging there. But
well, the fact is, he took pictures with me. So on one aspect, maybe he felt comfortable around me. I don't know. But everybody else, maybe he didn't. So
that's possible. I mean, I have come across as intimidating to people before. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe the voice, but it is what it is. I'm just saying that there's a new vibe and a new energy here.
Definitely.
And before we get into that with some people here, to me, there are 2 questions immediately that the Harris ownership group, the Hogs, have to answer.
Okay.
One of them is the stadium. This is actually what Josh Harris had to say when he got asked by Nikki Javala.
Josh, Nikki Javala with Washington Post. I know you've been asked this already, but in terms of long-term stadium plans, what is kind of your vision for this team?
Yeah, like so we're focused on creating great experiences for our fans and kind of making them feel. And as I said, when you have guests into your house, we're going to throw a party, every other Sunday. And when you have guests in your house, like you treat them well. You don't have couches that are broken. You don't have TVs that aren't working. So we got to get after all that, and that's what we're focused on right now. As far as the stadium experience long run, we would love to have a stadium where the opposing players fear to come, and our fans love to come, and our players love to come and feel welcome. That's what I experienced at RFK. Whatever happens with the stadium, that's the kind of stadium experience I want to create.
A stadium where opposing players fear to come.
Fear to come.
Do you think that we can have that at FedEx Field? Forget the new stadium, just at FedEx Field.
I know we can. And the mere fact, the reason why I say I know I can is because, like you, I have people who are friends of the work in ticketing and sales and things of that nature, and they tell me that sales are through the roof. So when it comes down to it, everyone didn't want to spend any money for the old guy. He's gone. And I said it on Channel 4 News. What's your excuse now to come back to FedEx Field or not to come back to FedEx Field? There aren't very many excuses, Ted. And we saw it today. People are going to come back and FedEx Field is going to rock. People are going to turn out and show up at FedEx Field, man.
Yeah, our man JP Finley says, let's make FedEx bump again.
Make it bump again.
And this is a tweet from Eric Flack saying, the Harris effect, since the sale went final, Commanders tell WUSA 19 is seeing an increase in daily ticket sales about 8 to 10x our normal daily sales rates. Team president Jason Wright is saying that week 1 home opener is trending towards a sellout. I mean, and I jumped on with the Junkies to talk about this earlier this week. Week 1 is always busy. It's week 4, week 5, week 6. That is going to be the true test of, is this fan base going to come back? And it was JP Flame had a question. Do you think FedEx Field will have a home field advantage? And I don't think we're there yet.
Not yet.
I think it's way too premature. We will week 1, but will we have a home field advantage? And I don't know what week we play the Eagles. I know it's in October sometime, but will we have a home field against them? Will we have a home field, before you say it, against the Bills? The Bills Mafia travels well.
They travel very well.
Will we buy the tickets up before they can get them? Because Philly, it's a 2.5-hour ride down 95. That's nothing.
Yeah.
But Buffalo coming down here, that will be a test to me if this fan base truly is going to put their money where their mouth is. Because much like you, I have people yelling and screaming at me, how are you giving that guy money? And I would go back to them and always say the same thing. I never became a fan of this team because of Jack can't cook. And I'm not going to let Dan Snyder take my fandom away from me.
Yeah.
So if he took yours away, I'm sorry, but I'm still going to be out there supporting my friends that played for the team.
Exactly. There you go. And that's what it boils down to. And I would say the exact same thing. You know, fact is, we are for the team and the fans, our camaraderie. Who owns the team, even though it was that guy? No, we weren't trying to put money in his pocket. We were trying to build the camaraderie amongst a fan base that was sinking in quicksand, man. And so that's what it boils down to.
I mean, that WTOP reporter that talked to you today was asking you questions about Dan. I mean, to me, that's just, I'm never going to tell someone how to do their job.
Yeah.
But hey, if anyone out there's listening, this fan base doesn't want to hear about that jackass again.
No.
He's gone. He's dead and buried. Let him hang out on his yacht. The only yacht I want to hear about is Magic Johnson hanging out in the Greek islands, wherever the hell he is, with his family on his yacht wearing Commanders gear.
Wearing Commanders gear. I mean, the whole family was wearing Commanders gear. And that brings up the next thing, Ted, as far as this whole name change with the organization and the fan base. You know, you got a lot of fans who just don't like the name Commanders. Do you think that So actually, let me go back. You said, will we have a home field advantage? Well, it starts with week 1. If we win at week 1, and I got to say if, I'm not going to say because nothing's written in stone. If we win week 1, that'll make people want to say, oh, okay, hypothetically, I may have missed week 1, but I saw a different vibe watching it at home. I want to be a part of that. So we go to Denver week 2, and then I think we come back week 3 for Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. Like you said, it's got to start week 1. Week 1, we've got to put our best foot forward. And that sets the tone. If we lose week 1, then people may not want to come. But I'm not gonna focus on the bad. I want to focus on the good. That's where it starts.
So we were, if you remember, 6-2 with Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And those stands were still empty.
But why though? But why? Not because we were winning.
Partially because of Dan.
That's it.
But also partially because of the football that was being played on the field.
Okay.
It was boring ass football.
It was.
It was not fun to watch. We're in a fantasy football society. You and I don't play.
No.
But pretty much everyone else in the world does.
Yeah.
And people want to see points. We were winning games 17-13. I mean, it was just boring to watch. I think Alex had 172 yards passing on average. It just was not fun. But if we can win those type of games and our defense is wrecking shop based upon what we saw today, it looks like they will be, then people will show up. And people are waiting and chomping at the bit to spend money on this team. And it was nice to see at the team store what was happening there. But you were about to ask me about the name. And you and I are both public about our want for the name to stay the same, to not change.
Yeah.
Well, you got to listen to the Magic interview. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
Because I want to see if you cry after you watch the interview. Because the last minute of that Magic interview, Craig Melvin, who is a documented Commanders fan, Washington fan, Burgundy and gold fan,
yes,
got a gold jacket. The big Commanders jackets with the W and the wrong dates on the back. Craig's got one.
Okay.
I've got 2 Craig, so haha. But, at the end of the interview, Magic started to bawl. He was crying. Craig almost had a hand on a tissue.
No kidding.
This is actually what Magic said about the stadium during that interview.
Teams based in Virginia, they play their games in Maryland, but there's been a movement afoot for a long time to move the football team back into the city.
Right.
Make them the actual Washington, D.C. Commanders.
We're going to spend this year understanding what we have in place. And then I'm sure that'll come up. The Commanders, the name of the team will come up eventually. But right now, we got enough work to do, and that will keep us busy.
We have enough work to do that will keep us busy. I think fans need to understand that your priority and the Hogs' priority do not line up. And they paid $6 billion, so their priority takes a little bit of precedence over yours. And I understand fans have not jumped on board. You and I want to say, are a minority in more ways than one, because we're literally both rocking Commanders gear right now.
Yep.
Out there at camp today, what would you say? Maybe a quarter of fans rocking Commanders gear? Everyone else rocking old school stuff?
It's almost half.
You say almost half?
Yeah, half.
Okay. You walked around more than me. So I'll take your word for it. But not a lot of people have jumped on board with this name. And I do feel that some of it was just because of who owned the team when we got the name. I think if we would have got the name and the Hogs were the group that owned it at that point in time, then people would have been on board. I also don't think we've been named the Commanders, but that's a story for a different day. But this is actually what Josh Harris had to say during his press conference about the name.
Hi, Josh. John Hines, ESPN. I'm curious, 2-part question. I'm curious what you have felt about the reaction from the fans over the last 24, 48 hours. And along with that, I'm sure you know there's a lot of questions about the team name from that fan base. I'm curious, is that on the priority list or not?
Yeah, so Washington fans are passionate. I knew that because I grew up here. The reaction has been overwhelming. We're so appreciative of how welcome we are. We also know, because we've done this before in Philly, that we got to deliver. So I'm also the fans should be aware, and you should be aware. There's a lot of sleepless nights. This is an amazing day for me, but I'm stressed. So we got training camp is the next week, and first game is 6 weeks away. Look, I think that we're going to be focusing. We got a lot to do. We got to get the team ready to win football games. We got to get out in the community and start to pay it forward, as Magic said. And we got to, change the stadium, right, and change the the fan experience. We got to change the fan experience. And right now, that's going to be things like ingress and egress and food, and there's not that much we can do. And so our 3 priorities are those, and that's what we're focused on right now.
To me, that was refreshing hearing that changing this name is not on the priority list for the new ownership group, because we are at FedEx Field all the time. We see how bad it is there. And it took a while for me to acknowledge how bad it is, because it's like someone telling you your baby's ugly. It's like, yeah, I know my baby needs plastic surgery down the road, but I can call him ugly. You can't. All right.
Well, for the longest time, we always did say, and I fall prey to it myself. I would say, well, FedEx isn't that bad. And then people would always say, yes, it is. And I would say, well, wait a minute. There's other stadiums that are worse than ours, like Jacksonville. You know, to me, Jacksonville is worse than FedEx.
No, that stadium's horrible.
Yeah.
I went to back then the Redskins Jags game.
Yep.
At Christmas.
Yep.
And I was in Tampa with my in-laws, and I drove up to Jacksonville for the game. They weren't happy about it. And it started to snow. And I was on TV, and you can see me, and I'm just shivering my ass off because I'm wearing shorts and sandals.
In
not
Jacksonville?
thinking it was going to snow.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah, man. I'll send you the picture.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But you talk about, saying FedEx Field isn't that bad. Everyone that tells me about the pipe burst, I send them. I have it bookmarked. It's a favorite on my browser.
Okay.
Of when the SoFi Stadium had a pipe burst in one of their suites, saying, hey, it happens to everybody else, but realistically, she's bad. Right?
Yeah, she is.
So there's a lot of improvements they're going to make there. And fans that were there during the rally, some of them snuck into the lower concourse and saw what the stadium looks like. We're going to be there in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
And we're going to get a chance to see these improvements. You were talking a little bit about DJ Premonition, wanting to hear from him about that new sound system.
Yeah.
If today taught us anything, you can put lipstick on a pig. The stands out in Ashburn were a huge improvement.
A huge hit by everybody.
Everything they did out in Ashburn today was lipstick on an ugly ass pig out at Ashburn Commanders Park, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
They can do the same thing.
Definitely.
And to be fair, the changes that were made today in Ashburn were made by the old ownership group.
Yes, they were.
The Hogs.
Yeah.
But the staff had the ability to do what they needed to do. There are some amazing people that work for this organization.
Oh, heck yeah.
John Radhe is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
John was a major influence on getting us those stands. Granted, you and I didn't sit in them, but they look nice.
They did. They look very nice. Oh, you went up there and got some water from them.
I did. But one thing they did look that I know for a fact, they were full.
Oh, heck yeah. And once again, the fact that the amount of fans that came out today at training camp, if it's any indication, that's how FedEx is going to be first game against the Cardinals.
So there's a lot of business that needs to be done. And the name is not one of them.
No, it really isn't.
I might shock you here. I'm fine with it changing. I have probably spent more money than anybody on Commander's gear. I'm just going to say that because I don't make homegrown gear like you.
Okay.
So I'm paying those inflated Fanatics prices.
Okay.
And when I walked out of that, I think, fan day at FedEx, when we could take the team store over, it was 4 figures that I spent inside the store that day.
Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4
4
figures.
figures.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that I have probably spent the most money on Commander's gear out there by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Also because I live 10 minutes from the stadium and I drive by to see if they got anything new. So it's a disease.
You got it
see
like
somebody.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Ashburn syndrome's a problem. But you know what? I want every last bit that son of a bitch has to do with our team to be gone. And if this new ownership group decides that we need a clean slate because we don't want this stench on us anymore, and because a percentage of the fan base has an issue with this name, and I get we cannot find a name that we all agree on.
It'll never happen.
No. There's going to be someone that's going to have a problem with a name.
Yeah.
Just like all those people. and I'll save this for when the mics are off, but just like some of those people that say, well, not all Native American groups have a problem with Redskins. No, not all of them do.
No.
But some of them also do.
Yes.
So no, not every fan is going to like whatever the name is going to be. But it feels to me that a majority of the old fan base refuses to jump on board with the new name because Dan had something to do with it. Now, Brian Mitchell and Rally Captain are on record saying that if we win games, everyone's going to be rocking Commanders gear and no one's going to care.
No doubt about it, man. And I also feel the same way that Magic Johnson was on his yacht in Greece. His whole family had Commanders gear on. Big shout out to Magic Johnson and on his yacht. I mean, who takes a picture like that? But that was an awesome picture. More people will gravitate toward it. And I also believe we could be named the Washington Pixie Sticks. You win a Super Bowl, it's not gonna matter, man. It's not.
I hear you, but that's a big if, man. But realistically, in my opinion, we are 4 to 5 years away from being truly competitive.
I'm not gonna doubt that.
But are they going to hold on to this name for 4 to 5 years? I don't think so.
So they make it to the first round of the playoffs, hypothetically, and get knocked out under the Commander's name. Do you still want them to change it?
Depends on how you made it. And we were just talking to our friend Tim Meek, who will get up here on the mic in a minute, about that 2020 year, the COVID year.
Yeah.
We backdoored our way in the playoffs. If anyone goes back and remembers, we basically won that playoff game because, what was it, Doug Peterson for the Eagles sat their quarterback because he wanted a higher draft pick.
Because he was driving on us.
And he got his ass fired.
He did. He was driving on us. I was at that game, and I couldn't believe I couldn't believe it. But let's face it, Ted. Come on, man. Once again, the big trend right now is Red Hogs or Red Hogs or Red Wolves. Excuse me, Red Wolves. They want Red Wolves. And that's probably 85% of the people right now who want that. But if the ownership comes in and just says it's I don't know, whatever.
Don't give me an option. Don't ask me. Don't ask any of us here what we want the name to be, because none of us is going to agree.
They're not going to agree. So at some point in time, you've got to put your big boy panties on and just roll with it, man.
Yeah, I paid $6 billion. The name is X.
And you like it or
you
love
don't like it? Goodbye.
Yeah.
Someone else will fill your seat in the stadium. But
what
I'm saying is,
Ted, I hear you, brother.
I am fine with it.
Okay.
If Magic and Harris and Ines and if those guys say that we just want to just completely wash our hands with it, and I was adamant, I don't want to change, but that was me being selfish.
Okay.
Because I don't want to spend another 4 figures on new gear.
But will you though?
Yes.
So will I.
Yeah.
No matter what the name is, I'm going to go with it.
It's a disease.
It is.
We're stuck. But
it is.
If that's what my brothers and sisters need to also be back on board with us, then I am fine with it. And
Okay.
we will hopefully find another sponsor to help us buy more gear.
Yeah, because we need it. So if anyone is listening right now that wants to sponsor the DMV Mess Hall, let us know, because we need more gear. We're going to need it, obviously.
Yeah, in a couple of years. And it wasn't even the new gear. So they finally got me a Stitch jersey. So
it finally came.
I got a Stitch Tailgate Ted jersey.
Okay.
Problem is, it's an actual player's jersey. So if I was Emmanuel Forbes size, I could probably put it on and wear it to a game.
Okay.
But right now, I look like
Your little brother's t-shirt?
yeah, it's bad.
They gave
So
you a
I think
medium?
I'm just gonna frame it. And
Frame it. There you go.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll sign it myself and say I got autographed and
Okay.
everything else authenticated.
Yeah.
Maybe the guys at Woodward's Collectibles can help me, get a certification for it. But yeah, they actually got me. And then it's just trying to find more stuff. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of things to it, but I'm changing my mind. If it does change, when that does become a priority for the new ownership group, I'm fine with it.
Well, okay, so I don't want you to think that I'm not okay with it, because at the end of the day, I always say I can only do what I can do. I can't change what someone else does. So if that's what they want to go with, I'm a fan of the burgundy and gold regardless. So whatever the name is going to be, it's going to be. But you're not going to satisfy everyone. And when that happens, I don't want to hear I wanted it to be the red. Well, I wanted it. Because no one is going to be 100% on board with it.
So to me, it's how it's done, though, because
Okay.
they made us believe that we were involved. They made
did.
us believe
They did.
that we had a chance. I mean, one of the options was Belters. Really? Because of the Beltway. You know,
No.
that was one of the freaking options for the name. I mean, it's just stupid
Oh,
stuff.
okay, yeah.
One of the options for the Wizards was Sea Dragons, you know, or Sea Dogs. I don't remember exactly which one it was.
Yeah.
But they're all horrible. Just don't let us think we're a part of it. Because I sat in those focus groups. I was a part of those
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah.
You had former players, alumni, sit in groups to talk about the name. Not one of them said Commanders was an option in any of the groups that they were in. And then don't tell me it's because you were worried that someone was going to trademark it. Guess what? You're already in a trademark fight with the name Commanders when you're supposed to do all this damn homework in the first place.
That's what they said they did. Yeah, they
Well,
said
apparently they didn't.
No. So you'd rather it be like how Cleveland was, just come out with Guardians, boom, there it is.
That's fine.
Like it or love it.
Yeah.
If you leave, you leave. But we're the Guardians now.
To me, if you leave, you are looking for a reason to leave in the first place.
And that's my take on people right now who say that they don't want to come back to the stadium. Well, parking's too high or the metro's too far. Then you don't want to come to a game anyway. You're just making up, trying to find excuses.
Exactly. And speaking of excuses, Phil Mendelssohn,
Mm-hmm.
the chairman of the DC City Council. Sir, I hate your guts. And I hope you hear this. And I'm going to cut it up and play it for your office. Because
Yep.
you, sir, are a joke.
Yeah.
You're yelling and screaming now that you don't want the team to come back to DC until the Beth Wilkinson oral report is released. So you've got Vincent Gray, you've got Kenyon McDuffie, all these other DC council members that are now seeing that there is a new ownership group,
Yeah.
that Magic Johnson, all these guys here, all these philanthropists
Mm-hmm.
that are from this area, born in Chevy Chase, born around the corner,
Yeah.
want to bring the team back to the city. And you, sir, are now saying that you won't let it happen unless the Wilkinson report is released? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Now, well, I think that there was a good movie put out that said need to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, to me,
But that too. It goes along with it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love if someone ran against his ass and got him out of office.
It
Because
needs to happen.
he's making excuses. And the fact that we have a gentleman from Kentucky about to put legislation in front of Congress to allow the RFK lease to be extended, and Phil Mendelssohn, that scrawny little dude, is going to stop this fan base and this city from having a stadium back in our nation's capital is an absolute joke. And if someone's got to grease his palms or get his ass out, something's got to be done,
Yeah.
because a priority is a new stadium.
It definitely is.
We're putting lipstick on that pig, but after that, we're working on something else. And these fans are excited. We want it. We're thirsty for it. We're hungry for it.